Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Anton. Okay, I can see you now.
Yes,
Hi.
I can see you too.
How are you doing today?
All good, all
All
good.
good.
How are you?
I am doing well. Just feeling a bit cold. How is it for you there?
It's cold here as well, and it is pretty cold, like -5, -7. But in general, it's good. We got used to it. It's January.
Of course, of course. But it's better than where I am right now because it's minus 13, 14 for I think for the past 2 weeks. Hasn't
No,
changed that much.
we haven't reached that level yet.
It's sunny. I can see your like window.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It
Sunshine.
is. It is sunny. It is okay. But when you go outside,
Yeah.
then you feel the cold,
Yeah.
especially when it is a bit windy, and
Yeah.
then some cold winds make it even
The worst.
smoother, let's say. Yeah.
Really, it's the worst when it's windy. So you don't go out at all, or
How do you mean?
like you don't go out at all, or you just stay at home, or are
No,
you?
no. We go out. We are used to be cold a bit. We put a scarf and
Right.
move with it.
Yeah, yeah. You choose the best fashion for the weather. Um,
Indeed, indeed.
yeah, yeah. It's really bad. I think like a couple of days ago it was snowing even still. I think it's gonna be like this until the end of January.
But
So
we like snow. It is more
you
fun.
do, you
Yeah,
do. Oh, okay.
it
Um,
makes
um
the place look better.
like white, very like Christmassy, probably, right?
Indeed, indeed. And we had a great Christmas time. It was very, very, I would say, good to celebrate with friends and family. It was a very good time here.
Mm-hmm. When did you celebrate your Christmas? Was it on December?
25th, 25th of December.
Oh, okay. Because I know that some countries in the Balkans celebrate like the Orthodox style, right? So
Yes,
it's
it is 7th of January.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm Christian Catholic, so we have 25th as a date.
Oh, yeah. The most commonly celebrated one. Yeah. Oh, we have a few viewers already, joining us, Anton.
Okay,
Huh?
well,
Yeah. Although I can't see the names, but okay, I guess. We will be waiting for more people to join, Anton, start. Um, before we start our session today. We'll start. Hopefully, we can start exactly at 2 p.m. CET, and by that time, we will have um, people, a lot of people to join us today. But for those who have joined us today, thank you so much for coming in. Welcome to another Inside Scopic webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about remote AI projects. My name is Tia Angraini. I'm recruiting department manager here at Scopic, and I'll be your host for today's session. To kick things off, would love to know who's with us today. We can see a few people have joined. Say hello in the chat and tell us where you're joining us from, so we can give you some shout out. For those who are here for the very first time, we host most monthly webinars on LinkedIn and talk about various topics across different fields. We invite speakers from different departments within the Scopic team, and they share interesting insights from their field as well as stories about their work at Scopic. Our goal really is to make this webinar series a way to connect with our followers and even like a wider online audience, while also sharing experiences and creating a space where we can learn together. As I mentioned, we'll be doing this every month, so stay tuned for more updates. Follow us on LinkedIn and let us know if there's any specific field or topic you'd like us to cover, so we can learn together. And for those who joined us last month, we hosted a December webinar on bridging the skills gap for software engineers transitioning into machine learning roles. We covered beginner friendly machine learning fundamentals, pathways into machine learning, and also actionable career strategies to help participants tailor profiles for machine learning positions. And we also recorded the entire session and shared it on LinkedIn. So feel free to watch the recording in our previous post. You might need to scroll down a bit because it's been a while. It's been a few weeks. But today we're moving to the next topic in our series, which is managing remote AI projects from planning to deployment. And in this session, we'll cover the process, protocols, tools behind remote collaboration, and we'll also share real-life examples from Scopic's own portfolio. And I am super delighted to have our speaker today, Anton Sokoli, who is a project manager here at Scopic. Anton has extensive experience guiding distributed teams through complex AI deployments, and he'll walk us through proven approaches and illustrate them with real examples from his project experience. So this is going to be interesting. But for now, hi, Anton, again. For our audience today, can you please give us a bit of an intro of your professional experience, please?
Of course. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Tia. And trying to summarize a bit and make a short introduction, let's say, I would say that I am a professional with over 14 years of experience leading global teams in product innovation, IT operations, and digital transformations, with the main focus on turning ideas into meaningful features and measurable values that impact everyday business. And achieving it by aligning people, processes, and technology. At Scopic, where I have been part of the team for nearly 5 years now, I've had the opportunity to guide distributed teams through different complex AI-driven initiatives and helping organizations move from the concept to scalable real-world execution of features. From the certification perspective, I'm certified in PMP, ITIL, and digital transformation certificates that reflect a hands-on data-driven approach, centered on mostly operational excellency and delivering tangible outcomes, if we can say so. So from this experience, I think that the very center of my work is to empower people to lead these changes, whether through different agile deliveries, continuous process improvements, or with the main one, customer-centric product development. I'm very excited to be with you guys today, and thank you once more.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I know also you've been juggling quite a few projects lately at the same time. How's your week been so far?
Honestly, it's been a very busy week, let's say, but exciting at the same time. Because we've had a couple of new AI initiatives kicking off these days. So I'm looking forward to share some of these experiences with everyone here.
Nice. So actually sounds like perfect timing for this session, right? For this session. I'm sure our audience will enjoy hearing how those real projects connect to today's topic. I think we can wait for a couple more minutes before we start the session officially. I think we have around 18 viewers at the moment. We have one greeting from Ruslan Zubanov. Ruslan, if you can also tell us where you're from, where you're watching this from, that would be great. But Ruslan is a web developer, seems like, and he wants to retrain as a AI developer engineer, seems like. So could be related, right, with what we're going to be talking about, because we're going to be talking about AI projects. But yeah, I think we can start with the non-negotiable. Every time we have the webinar, Anton, we do a quick icebreaker with our audience. And I would love to hear from our audience today. Have you ever been part of a remote AI project? If yes, probably you can also share your experience. Go ahead and share your thoughts in the chat. We'll take a moment to see what comes up. So have you ever been part of a remote AI project? That's the question. But before we read audience's answers, let's hear from our speaker today. Anton, I know for sure that you have been part of countless AI projects, right? So the question for you is, what's one challenge or probably success that stands out the most to you from your experience managing remote AI projects?
I think, Tia, that one of the things that stand out to me is how remote projects and especially remote AI projects force us to be extremely intentional about clarity.
Okay.
And one of our biggest successes was when we shifted a bit from task-based management to outcome-based ownership in different teams that are leading on these developments. And this, instead of asking people what they are doing and how it is going, we focus on what value should be delivered
Yes.
and by when. So this small change dramatically improved our accountability, speed, and team confidence by taking ownership for specific values that are to be delivered for a project. The
Okay.
challenge, of course, was alignment in the beginning.
Mm.
Time zones, different interpretation of priorities, different technical backgrounds. But
Yeah.
once we created some kind of shared rhythm, common language, the remote setup actually became a strength, not a limitation. And it helps us much faster and much better.
Yeah. Interesting answer, Anton. But you also mentioned that you shifted from task-based management to outcome-based ownership. But what was the key trigger or like turning point that kind of led you to make that shift?
The turning point was realizing that progress looked busy, but results sometimes were a bit inconsistent, meaning that the value was hard to be presented. So we had people completing tasks and their duties, yet
Yes.
the real business impact was often delayed or unclear. And that's when it became a bit more obvious to us that we needed to shift more the focus from activity and
Right.
task to a specific outcome.
Yeah.
And once we defined the ownership around results instead of tasks, decisions became much faster and responsibility became much cleaner, if I can say so.
I see. Okay. Um, Thank you, Anton, for answering my question. It's always inspiring, I think, to hear how those challenges can actually turn into real wins, right? It's just it makes us feel, it feels like we can trust all the hard work that we put into something, right? Into solving a problem. I see some shout outs from our some of our viewers. So Ruslan is from Kazakhstan. I was watching from Kazakhstan. Hi, Ruslan. There's also Gabriela from Buenos Aires. She's also a project manager. There's Kime Yosef, work in a software development company and finds AI projects really interesting. Here today because wants to learn more about how AI project development works and how I can contribute in the future. Okay, so I think this would be a very valuable session for our viewers for sure. And I think we have enough people to start the session. I'll begin with sharing further details of today's session. We'll demystify the life cycle of a remote AI project, guiding you through the journey from kickoff to delivery. The main content will focus on the end-to-end process, protocols, and also tools that drive successful remote collaboration. And along the way, you'll see real life examples and practical cases from Scopic's portfolio, showing how the strategies really work in practice. This session is designed to bridge the knowledge gap for professionals curious about how distributed teams manage complex AI initiatives. Because I would say that this is also one of the most asked questions from our followers and also candidates, especially those that have not worked remotely before. So our audience today will also gain actionable strategies for handling milestones, communication, and also client expectations in a remote first environment. And with insights from Anton today, you'll walk away with practical tips, real world perspectives, and the confidence to contribute to or even lead remote AI projects in today's global tech landscape. And just a quick reminder, this is very important. If you have questions related to today's topic, feel free to drop them in the chat anytime. Our team will collect them and will try to answer as many as possible during the Q&A session later on. So without any further ado, Anton, I'll hand things over to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tia. And I tried to summarize a few points and prepare a few slides that will help us organize and share in the best way the experience that we have received, gained during the managing of these projects related to AI.
Yes.
I tried to summarize everything in 5 critical phases that helps us transform AI projects from concept to a continuous value. And, in these 5 phases, I try to mention the main critical points that helps us on the way.
Yeah.
In the coming slide, I started with a phase that is the most critical, in my opinion, that creates us the first point where the success is defined.
Yes.
And in these points related to this particular phase, I would summarize that the business feature and the challenge is the first one that we should focus on. And when we start there, we shouldn't have the focus to AI model.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have the focus to technical challenges, but we should first see what is the business feature that is needed. What challenge are we solving with this project? And try to create some clear success matrix for it to define what good looks like in our client's eyes, and define some measurable KPIs.
Yes.
Because ambiguity, let's say, kills a bit AI projects faster than any technical challenge.
Yes.
So defining first what is our goal, what is the clear success matrix, helps us to define the main steps. And then, of course, AI has its own worldwide challenge, let's say. It works with data and data readiness, meaning how structured the data set is that we are going to utilize.
Yes.
And in this case, we should try to match the data readiness that we have with the business feature that is being requested, and see if we can access the data and we have availability, quality, and the constraints. As early as we know, we can define better the scope and the way forward. And of course, in the planning phase, we should define a clear ownership and authority that will help us have some clear roles and help us have some decision-making authority during the project, because AI projects have a very wide open scope. So it's very much needed that we have a defined authority and ownership on the way for our teams. And as we progress from here, we know that in coming phase, we need to do the product framing and the architecture of that product that we are working on, that project that we plan to deliver.
Yeah.
And in the product framing and architecture phase, we selected again the most needed points that we should consider. We should work as a team to define the user journeys so that we map how users will interact with the AI features and make sure that their experience is at the best and delivers value at each touch point, if we can utilize it or use it as a word. And then, of course, while defining this part, we need to make sure that the AI boundaries are clearly defined, what AI should and should not do, and establish some guideline preventing some scope changes and try to maintain trust during this part. Then, of course, AI is a functionality that needs a lot of integration points, where it gathers the data, it utilizes the models, and etc. So during the product planning, product vision, we need to have clear points of what kind of integration we have. And in this case, define what are the data sources to ensure that the process or the operations are seamless on the way. Of course, with a lot of integrations, a lot of models, a lot of data, we need to make sure that we are good at the security and compliance part, because in different countries like in US, Europe, and all other areas, there are some specific compliance requirements that we need to foresee and to try to be in line with regulated industries and sensitive data especially. These are very critical to be defined from the beginning and will help us on the way forward to figure the best way to have the best plan to move ahead.
Yeah.
After this particular phase, we should try to plan and organize in the best way the execution and collaboration. Execution and collaboration has its challenges when we are remote in different countries, in different places all over the world,
Yeah.
having different roles. And having different roles makes sometimes execution and collaboration a bit more challenging.
Mm.
In the next slide, I specified a few points that are critical for us, where we define specific measurable objectives for each sprint, and we define a goal for each sprint.
Mm-hmm.
And as we have specific goals with a specific ownership for a specific value that will be delivered, we also need to have some daily synchronization on updates, how everything is going, whether we can support each other, whether we have a good visibility across progress, blockers, and priorities.
Yes.
Of course, once a week, we try to align all checkpoints, all teams together, just to schedule and have some sessions to recalibrate the direction where we're going,
Mm-hmm.
resolve any dependencies between teams to ensure that one team doesn't block the other team waiting for a particular functionality to be delivered. And in this case, it helps us on the last point here where transparency is increased. And we have a culture where obstacles are surfaced immediately and are documented clearly and addressed in collaboration without any blame between, but in a culture of cooperation between every role, every team member that we have.
Yeah.
And as we have these 4 points continuously aligned, our teams are always better aligned and the progress is much more visible and the execution phase goes much better and without any blockers that can impact the timeline of delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, as we, how to say, have good organization in place, we need to have good tools that helps us to have project management in the best way document.
Yes.
In Scopic, we are using some platforms of our partners like Jira, Confluence, Microsoft Teams, Slack for communication as well, Linear, and Notion. So these tools help us be more productive, help us be more transparent on the progress, and help us document every progress, every value that we continuously deliver inside the project. So in other terms, it makes our life a bit easier. It helps us communicate and document everything. Moving ahead to other, let's say, steps on the way, we have the validation and deployment. After the execution phase has been achieved, in the phase of validation and deployment, we need to first validate the models to test the AI outputs against different data sets. Because every time we have different data sets of clients, we have some real world scenarios that help us to achieve a structured data, but in the same time, we need to do some real case testings to make sure that we have accuracy and reliability before we launch our products, before we go to the deployment step.
Mm-hmm.
Together with it, we need to do some security reviews. For the security reviews, we try to be not only on our checks, but also to involve partners from different companies that are performing penetration testings, vulnerability assessments, compliance audits that help us to protect sensitive data and, of course, increase the user trust.
Yeah.
Trust that everything is developed according to standards, everything meets and creates a very good solid value for them without having concerns about security. Of course, we need to make sure that performance is continuously monitored
Mm-hmm.
because in production with data, data that is changing in different clients, in different databases, in different integration points. We need to have and establish some baseline metrics for latency, throughput, resource utilization to ensure that the systems are meeting SLAs. We define SLAs with our clients, and we make sure that the service level agreements are always kept in the best possible way. All of these are achieved together with the feedback, with the incorporation of our clients in user acceptance testings, where everything that we checked is also checked together with the best feedback that we can get. And the best feedback is the user acceptance testings, which confirms that all the values that we gave, the real users are seeing them and meeting their needs and usability standards, as we say. So this gives us more confidence, creates trust between, and we are ready to progress with the deployment on this phase and provide clients with an end value.
Okay.
The release, the deployment is not the last step. We need to make sure that operations and continuous improvements are done, because AI is like a living functionality that continuously enhances and evolves. Here we have also a few points that I wanted to share as the main points that we identified to be very important for us. The one is that we need to have monitoring in place. We created some real-time dashboards that I will present during the real cases and projects that we have completed. So we have monitorings in place. We have retained strategy exits where we schedule model updates and data refreshment cycle.
Yes.
Different AI models are continuously updating, and they need continuous monitoring to make sure that everything is working as expected and they are giving an additional value to our product. Every new model should give an additional value. Of course, after we move to operations, after we move to real users, we need to be focused and make sure that ownership is clear. Everybody knows their responsibilities for maintenance, for incident response, and of course for strategic improvements that are identified and continuously kept under the monitoring of our teams. Of course, we need to establish, and we always do, the business feedback loops. The business feedback loops are created on our side with direct communication with clients, where they continuously share their feedback, and we make sure that their expectations are met. This is like a very short summary that I wanted to share with everyone on what we learned from our experience and how this helped us to achieve up to this level of satisfaction with our clients. Summary wording, I would say that AI must evolve always with the business. Otherwise, it becomes somehow a technical debt. Why? Because AI is continuously enhancing itself. We need to deliver that to our clients so that they can utilize it to increase their business, to scale the functionalities that they have, and of course, progress ahead all the time. More or less, this was a short summary that I wanted to share. I'm happy to reply to any questions that any of our viewers have, and I will try to reply as much as possible. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Anton, for summarizing a process that is otherwise very long, very complex, right, into just 5 very understandable, let's say, steps. Before we move on to show some real live examples, I actually have one question, and I think some of our audience are also curious about this. But what do you think are, let's say, the main differences between managing AI projects and non-AI projects? Or is the process essentially the same?
At the high level, I would say that the process is similar, but AI adds some uncertainty.
Okay.
In more traditional projects, you build what you have designed, what you have a scope of work, what you have prepared from the beginning. But in AI projects, you discover what's possible while building. You discover how different models of AI are interpreting the data that we have in place. So here the data quality, the model behavior, and the performance cannot be fully predicted upfront or from the beginning.
Yeah.
So you need much more experimentation, stronger validation, tighter feedback loops. And that's why I think that the clarity of ownership and the outcome becomes even more critical in AI than in traditional projects.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And now I think we can also share some real life examples from your own projects, right, Anton?
Yes, yes, of course. I think this is a very good possibility to present
Yeah.
what we have achieved. And here we have one of our projects, a very successful project in the marketing and vehicle industry, where we supported the client in some AI services.
Mm-hmm.
Here, on coming slide, we will see a dashboard of how the data management is done, and all this data can be utilized and is being utilized
Yeah.
by the AI agents that we have in place.
Mm-hmm.
The AI functionalities that we have in place help us in this platform to communicate with clients, either via email campaign, SMS campaigns, video campaigns, different ways of communicating with clients.
Okay.
And in the coming slide, you will see how after the communication with the client, AI takes over and provides to these clients the best replies. In the coming slide, if Kim
Okay.
can
Yeah.
help us, yes, I dropped a case where communication is happening between a client and our AI agents, let's say, that are integrated in this project. And
Mm.
they utilize our data to help the client in a matter of minutes with all their questions that they have and guide them on how they can value their product, how they can trade it, how they can use our inventory to have some new vehicle, let's say, based on their interests.
Okay.
And as AI does this communication with the client in a matter of minutes, it also summarizes it into a handover, into a conclusion handover that gives it to our human colleagues from sales team and operation team to be able to communicate with the client and help him or her in the coming steps. In the
Yes.
next slide, you can see how AI completed the full conversation with the client and then created a handover that points out the priority. It gives us the lead identification, the details related to that client, the conversation highlights, the recommended actions, and also the opportunity assessments. In
Mm-hmm.
this case, AI managed the entire communication with our clients and gave us the handover on what should be further done.
Right.
It is able to create schedule appointments and everything. So basically, from the beginning to the end, AI takes over the communication with our clients, help
Yeah.
them faster, and helps our sales teams also to know and to have a conclusion of what is the best way to approach the client and what is the best way to help them on their needs. So
Yeah.
it is a highly added value that helps and gives value to daily activities.
Yes.
In the coming case or case two, we have what we call an AI that lives inside your business. And here, a Killian partner that worked with us and we worked with them to deliver this project has done and achieved a great progress with AI experts. So
Yeah.
on coming slide, you will see that here we have the chance to integrate the AI directly in the web page of our clients and the different platforms, different tools. So here we integrated AI as a chatbot that is able to answer all the questions that our clients will have,
Yeah.
like an expert, consultant expert that gives all the details to the client that is utilizing it. In the coming slide, you will see how it is opened to support any question that the end user, the client, the visitor in this web page has. And then this data is utilized in background with a management platform that defines some AI expertise. And in the next slide, you will see how they are managed in background. So we have a big set of AI employees AI experts of different fields. So
Okay.
if the question is related to, let's say, real estate, we have materials in place that
Hmm.
are the best, most recent materials that can help do the best consultations related to real estate.
Okay.
Or, for example, if it is in technology sector, or if it is in different areas of work. So we define the AI expertise, we define the AI employees, and we give them to different clients to utilize them in their web pages. And the Killing platform is offering it in the best way for the moment, and they are all supported by our technology behind.
Okay.
In the coming slide, you can see how the conversation is seen from the backend, from our management platform, where we are able to see the communications that are done with the client and what was the outcome, what is the solution that we gave to them. We are having the chance and offering the chance to, besides doing the initial consultation, to schedule an actual meeting with our group of experts that are behind this data, that are supporting this informations. And then end
Okay.
user can schedule it, communicate, and get all this value also in person.
Hmm.
Everything here is manageable and it is followed up by different monitoring parts that we have, different reports. In coming slide, you will see that we have a lot of reports that show the workforce comparison, how
Yeah.
many of different roles are being utilized, the engagement, the contribution, and the data collection that is being done in this phase, because all the data are collected and structured in such a way that we always have a history of conversation that is done and the support that we offer. This
Nice.
helps us have the history of the conversation, helps us continue where we left, and also helps us have better and better communication skills in the future. The
Mm-hmm.
overall engagement chart shows also how the positive outcome of AI employees is creating leads and creating good data records for the platform as well. I think we have one more slide that summarizes different reports that can be seen. And in it, it helps us conclude all the work that was done. I
Mm-hmm.
hope I can explain it somehow, because the AI functionalities are very wide and
Yes.
they can be complex time to time, but I try to summarize it in the most.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any Q&A.
Thank you, Anton. Very clear, very detailed. Especially, I really like that you brought up some of your real life experiences, right, to share here with our audience. And we have received a couple of questions, but for all other viewers, feel free to you know send your questions in the comments. We'll try to answer as many as possible. But now we will answer a couple of questions that we have received, Anton. The first one I can see here, what makes an AI project successful in your experience?
Thank you very much for the question. In my experience, I think that the AI project becomes successful when it behaves like a business product, not like a technical experiment, but like an actual business product.
Okay.
And first, it starts with some absolute clarity on the business problem that we are solving. And if
Okay.
the problem is, let's say, complex, the AI will be impressive, but it will be complex also to use. So the success comes when everyone agrees on what is good and how we can simplify and show an actual value. So we
Mm-hmm.
have this problem, we gave this solution through AI in the best, let's say, simplified way. And this helped us in this switch from task-based to value-based,
Yeah.
because we were always focused on getting the value out of the service of AI. And this helped us, was critical to make AI projects successful. Thank
Okay.
you for the question. I hope I clarified it a bit.
That was question from Kime, by the way, Kime Joseph. Thank you so much, Kime, for the question. Another one that we received is from Gabriela, and she asked, in remote teams, beyond time zones, cultural differences often show up more than we expect. What has worked best for you in AI projects? to manage this differences, I suppose?
I believe that I always saw it as a very good value and as a possibility to learn from each other, from different cultures, from different ways of people thinking or mindset, let's say. In the recent AI projects, we aligned each other very early in the project on how do we communicate, how we take and make the decisions, and how we give feedback. So that common operating model removes a lot of, let's say, cultural frictions or time zone differences. So it makes everything more explicit, like expressions, ownership, definition of success. And in remote teams, what is not written usually gets misunderstood. So we try to be very much transparent and document everything. When we have progress, when we have blockers, everything is visible to everyone. And cultural difference turns into strength instead of, let's say, risks or complexities.
Yes, definitely. We have people from more than 60 countries at Scopic, right? How many countries you have worked with so far, Anton? Now I'm curious.
I've was lucky to work with more than 50 colleagues from different places. Maybe in this 5 years, a lot of colleagues in different projects we switched.
Yes.
And, I was super happy to work with them. I met some of them in different countries all over Europe, which are a bit closer to me. I met some of them when I was in United States visiting the client, and I had the chance to meet some other colleagues there. So for me, it was great to meet a lot of them, meet a lot of different cultures, and I always faced very friendly with them. So it was great.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with you that this cultural differences, they're actually not like a struggle or a challenge. Probably to some extent they could be a challenge to sort of to manage, right? But at the same time, people from different backgrounds, they do offer different perspectives and insights and ideas and just different ways of seeing things. So we make it more like variative in the way that we discuss things. So like you, for example, you definitely have different perspectives from what I do when we see the same problem, right? And probably your solution could actually answer my issue, and the other way around. Just basically, different ways of seeing things, and I like that the most about working remotely, basically.
Indeed. And I think that their experience in different cultures, in different business sectors, in
Yeah.
different areas was super helpful for us as well. They have worked in different projects, different industries,
Right.
and all of them are giving an added value to the team. I always saw it as a great opportunity to work with teams all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Another question we received: what's a common misconception people have about AI projects?
Thinking how to reply in the best way here. So sometimes I think that the AI is mostly sometimes a mindset or less than a technology problem. In reality, AI projects fail or succeed because of people, because of processes and the business alignment. So the model is often the easiest part. Connecting the dots and offering the best solution, that is what makes more, let's say, success or gives more success. And the misconception is that everybody thinks it is a technology problem, but in
Yeah.
fact, it is not. An AI project can fail only if teams are not aligned and only if the goal and the value added is not very clear and specified.
Yeah, that's a good answer for sure. And one thing that I heard often, right? One of the biggest issues with AI projects also is the lack of data, Anton.
Indeed.
What do we usually do here at Scopic if we find clients that do not have sufficient data to begin with?
These two projects that I presented a bit earlier had this challenge as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of data, but then also keeping them updated, it is
Yes.
another challenge. And different sources that are contributing to this data often change their formats, often change their structures.
Okay.
And data can also conflict with each other when we have different sources. So
Mm.
what we gave as recommendation was that we incorporate as many CRMs as possible,
Yes.
and we structure the data according to a standard as much as possible.
Okay.
But in the same time, we work on enrichment of the data. And
Mm.
there are a lot of tools and functionalities that help us to enrich the data that we have. And
Okay.
right now, Aquilion has these functionalities of enriching the data. So
Mm-hmm.
it cleans data that are not properly formatted. It
Yes.
removes data that are not having a logic meaning behind. It
Mm-hmm.
only structured, clean data into the platform. And
Okay.
this increases the accuracy much higher, and it gives
Mm.
much better services in the
Yeah.
end for models.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is actually possible to start with somewhat, like insufficient data. Well, we can work it. Um,
Indeed,
yeah.
indeed. It is possible, but it is always good to keep enriching the data, and this increases the accuracy and the quality of AI services behind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. We have another question from Adele. Um, any specific AI powered tool you prefer using while working on an AI project, especially managing projects remotely?
I wouldn't say that we have a magic AI tool which is the best. So I'm
Yeah.
also in the part where I think that there are a lot of different AI powered tools that are helping us to make the work easier and better. And I think for remote AI projects, what works the best is the combination between AI for documentation and clarity, like turning some messy ideas into structured requirements, specifications, and decisions.
Yes.
And here, Google Gemini is
Mm,
helping a lot.
mm, okay.
Then, for communications, like summarizing meetings, aligning action points, reducing some non-synced frictions, if I can say so.
Yeah.
Uh, in this part, currently in Scopic, we are using Phantom, an application that
Yes.
helps for this part, and for communication and summarizing of different informations. ChatGPT is doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Then for delivery support, helping engineers, doing some analysis, doing
Yes.
some PM, good presentations and good wireframes, good content,
Yeah.
Claude, Claude is pretty good. So
Mm,
see, I tried to give a few different tools that we are using. Each of them does its contribution. Each
yeah.
of them is good on some areas, but
Mm-hmm.
I would say that tools that reduce ambiguity, accelerate alignment, and keep remote teams moving in the same direction
Yeah.
are the best ones that helps us the most. Other than that,
No. Keep it as simple as possible, right?
as simple as possible.
Okay. So the tools that you just mentioned, for example, Anton, if for example you're working on a specific project, like are the other team members also using the same AI tools, or you guys can be very like personal about it?
Sometimes we work separately, but then we share that space of work. So
Okay.
these tools offer the chance to share that working space, let's say, with others. So we have created some workspaces for the projects, and then there everybody can contribute and can
Mhm.
communicate and can see the results.
Yes.
And especially when we do these summaries of different wireframes and simulating how the end value will look like,
Yeah.
we share with everyone and everybody can contribute and enhance it and make it better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Um, I would like to send a shout out as well. I forgot to do that to Irvan Rivai from Indonesia. He sent a message a while ago, but I didn't see it. Hi, Irvan. I think it's evening already in Indonesia. So thank you so much for joining. We are still accepting more questions. I think we have a couple of minutes left in this seminar. So keep the questions coming in, guys. Anton here will answer your questions regarding project management. But Anton, probably you can also give some information about the scope of the projects that you shown us earlier, right? Like how many people are involved in each project? How big are they?
In our projects, we had a lot of teams from different groups.
Yeah.
So on the client team, we have assigned 7 different colleagues that worked mostly on helping us structure their data, create a certain vision, create a certain product idea behind, and also try to simulate as much as possible the real end user scenarios, the real case scenarios, how it will be used. On our side, we have colleagues that are from product management team, project management team, from design, from solution architects that help us to do the best architecture around the applications. And in Scopic, we are lucky to have very, very good solution architect teams. And then, of course, the most critical ones are our ML engineers, our QA teams that help us even have some automated QAs. And our team was composed by different team members that contributed a lot to make things in the best way.
Okay. We have a couple of more questions coming in. I can't see the name, but the question is, how do AI projects change timelines compared to traditional software? Any changes in timeline at all?
It happens, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And mostly it has to do with expected value in the end of delivery. So we agree to have a specific value delivered during a certain time. And in the traditional projects, in the traditional software developments, things are easier to be validated, easier to be confirmed that that's what it was expected. In AI and AI projects, sometimes the timeline switches because we achieve that functionality, but then we notice that we have a lot of things to enhance further and utilize better. So this changes a bit our timelines. It happens often, but we try to reduce it as much as possible.
Okay, all right. Like the change is it that huge? Anton, can you give some concrete examples, let's say?
Sometimes it has to do with data quality in the end.
Yeah.
It's not a big change, but we just try to adjust it so that the responses are with a different approach. An example that I can share is that we prepared an AI that replies related to finance and replies related to real estate.
Okay.
But when it comes to finance questions and consultancies, this AI expert needs to be more technical, more concrete, mention specific things related to it. So we created then, after we had completed the communication done very good, the data utilized very good, we added the functionality to specify the tone and the approach of communication. So different expertises, it communicates a bit more different. Always having in mind the end users behind. This can sometimes change our timeline, but more or less are things that are enhancements. So we are happy to do it when we are working and enhancing the functionalities further.
Gotcha. Okay. This might be the last question that we can entertain in this session today. Question from Chris. How do you manage a project where a client is not as proficient on AI? How can a PM help them on this journey to understanding?
This is a challenge that we always have. and we will always have. I think we had it also before with different traditional developments.
Yes.
Sometimes, and understanding the different technical terms is very complex for different business clients. But my approach is simplifying AI into business language. I never start any conversation with models, algorithms. I start more with outcomes, risks, values, things that are more into the business language.
Yes.
And as a project manager and product manager, our role is to translate, let's say, what AI can realistically do, what it cannot do, and how it fits into their daily processes.
Yes.
So basically, you guide them step by step with some examples, with some small wins, some clear expectations, and then our clients understand the impact in their business. Not exactly the technology, but they understand the value that is added. The confidence afterwards follows these small wins and clear expectations.
Yeah. Okay, great, Anton. That as I mentioned, that is unfortunately the last question that we can accommodate today. Thank you to all of our participants for joining us, for your thoughtful engagement, and of course, a big thank you for you, Anton, for sharing your expertise with us today. It's been very valuable for all of us. So yeah, thank you so much for you, Anton.
Thank you. I'm happy to have this opportunity, and thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
But before we officially wrap up, let's quickly recap the key takeaways from today's session. Anton basically summarized the complexity of managing AI projects into 5 very understandable sort of steps. The first one is planning and discovery. First, we need to define the business problem, success metrics, data readiness, and also ownership early in the process. Second, product framing and also architecture. Align on user needs, AI scope, integration, and security so you can build the right solution. And then third step, execution and collaboration. Remote success comes from clear protocols. So you should have sprint goals, async updates, checkpoints, right? And not more meetings. Not more meetings aren't really important here, right? Fourth step, validation and deployment. Treat deployment as the start, validate the model, ensure security, test with users, and monitor the performance. And then last but not least is the operations and improvement. Keep AI useful through monitoring, retaining plans, clear ownership, and also feedback loops to avoid silent failure. Let me just a second. Okay. And that's our key takeaways for today's session. We hope you learned from what Anton presented today. But just a quick reminder, we'll be sending you a short feedback form via email after this webinar. It will take you less than 5 minutes, I promise, to complete. Your input will really help us improve our future sessions. Would also love to stay connected with you if you're interested in applying to our team. Please check out our careers page, scopicsoftware.com/career. You can also follow our company page for updates on upcoming webinars in this series, and don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Thank you so much for being part of our today's session. We truly appreciate your time and energy, and we look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Bye, everyone. And thank you, Anton. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.